Hello, welcome to Lauren and John and Lauren's Lifetime Christmas movie review.
Reviews.
Tonight's episode is Record Breaking Christmas. Residents of a small town try to break multiple holiday world records just before Christmas.
This one is the hottest dumpster fire I've ever seen of a movie
He's
in my
being
life.
a little dramatic, but I think we're
No,
both
this
tired
was-
and
This movie was legitimately horrible.
so the main characters did have a lot of chemistry. They were basically, they did. They were basically hooking up 24/7 on screen. The girl looks like a cross between Joe from Grey's Anatomy and Natalie Portman, but like not in a good way. Like it's a little, what'd you call it? The Wish app version.
Yeah.
So there's that.
It was, yeah.
And the guy, he's a guy. So she works for the basically Guinness World Record company, and she has a troubled family history. Her parents are divorced, and so every Christmas she works these small towns or big towns or wherever needs her to go to possibly witness a record break.
Yeah, and witness the record-breaking attempts. And so this year she goes to this small town that's trying to break 6 world records over the course of apparently 3 weeks.
Yes. So she is originally from Chicago, and it's like it was a suburb of Chicago.
It was like 40 minutes away from
St.
Chicago.
Drexel. I don't know if that's a real city, but it's a small town, and in 1987 they broke the record for the world's largest iced cookie. And of course, as per Lifetime usual, the city is going under, and so they need to break these records to bring tourism back.
Yeah. So she goes to the town with her associate
God, I can't even.
Jin, and apparently this kid is
so
a
stupid.
mess.
It was so stupid.
He has 2 phobias. One of them is of bearded people, and the other is of large groups of people singing.
He will faint.
And he will faint when either of those things happen, which is a great thing to do for a Christmas thing. So they drive to this city. He faints because Santa comes out at their Christmas party. And he faints. They drive him to the doctor's office.
In Drexel. Not even in like Chicago. But
so they drive him all the way out there. And that's when they meet the
male love interest,
who is apparently the doctor in town. And from there, it's just his job is to court her.
But we don't find that out until later.
No, they explicitly mention it when they're preparing. At the beginning. They say everybody's got their jobs, and they kind of go over some of them and blah, blah. And then the mayor looks over to him and says, "You're here to court the adjudicator." And so they start with all these ridiculous world records. Like the first one that they start with is the longest mistletoe kiss, which was 46 hours.
Possibly in real life, we don't know, or it could have just been under.
No, this is all just movie
stuff. I don't know.
None of this ever happened in real life.
Okay, so 46 hours kissing under mistletoe. Yeah. And our thoughts were, what if you have to go to the bathroom?
I mean, my thought would be that just doesn't sound like a fun thing to do, to just be kissing for 2 days straight with no food or water or, anything in between. And additionally, they had 2 people to adjudicate this and other attempts. So I was wondering, when do they sleep? Because someone's got to be watching these people kissing for 2 straight days while other world record attempts are happening. And they're like, what?
Yeah, we're
Is
kind of
everybody
confused.
just going? So they start that, and then they, do this whole introduce the town thing. She stays at a bed and breakfast that's owned by the doctor's mom. And the mom was the one who broke the world record in the 80s with the largest sugar cookie.
Yeah.
And they start that, just building the town relationship. They go into all these world record attempts that just all fail horribly. Like,
one of them was how many frog Christmas cards in a store, and they were shy of it by 3 because one of them was a turtle, one of them was a reptile.
Yeah, they had like 8 cards that were like reptiles and turtles and dragons and dinosaurs and stuff.
But they weren't all frogs.
But they weren't all frogs, so they lose. Then the second one was a what was the second one?
Well, that was the second one. The first was the kiss one, which they didn't do because both people.
The second one was
passed out.
Yeah, the third. Yeah, the kissing people passed out at like 31 hours.
Yeah.
The third one was the 91-year-old. Fruitcake. That was, he misread 1 for a 7, so it ended up being
a 7 for a 1. Yeah,
7 for a 1 and whatever.
It just looked like a moldy ass piece of green bread.
Yeah. Then they had the
hula hooping reindeer people
hula hooping with a reindeer or something, and they cut to that and they all fell over. And
then there was a blow up balloon reindeers in a school traveling caravan.
It was it was in a van, but the lady didn't technically have a van.
She had an SUV.
Lost that one.
So they lost that one. But my thought was, okay, so if you have like 5,000 or whatever blow up reindeer in an SUV, that could be a record.
Well, it was like 350, but yeah.
But still.
Yeah, so they lose that one, and then they go to the last one, which was like the largest Secret Santa, and she gets called by the boss and tells them, oh yeah, someone in Amsterdam just broke the record by 1,000 people, and so they couldn't break that record either, because they were set to break the record by like a couple hundred. So it was like their previous record was like 1,600 people participating in Secret Santa, and then they get called and told that it's like 2,800 people in Amsterdam just did the Secret Santa.
Right.
So they blew that one. And then Jin decides that he doesn't like all the rules for being a world record judge and quits on the spot because he wants to help the town
to
win one.
And the main girl has been an adjudicator, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
For 12 years, and never once has she actually seen a record broken. So she has all these rules about not getting involved and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, playing it very straight.
But, and then the Dr. Love interest has been wooing her during all this time.
Oh, yeah.
They spend a lot of time together and almost kiss a lot, but then they don't. because whatever, his phone rings, people break their ankles, stuff happens.
Interruptions constantly.
But they're under blankets together on the snowy porch, and they drink hot chocolate and do dishes together and all that good stuff. So it comes toward the end, and
they've all failed.
And he tells her, like, basically, you're missing out on life. You're have too many rules. You're adjudicating your life away.
Yeah.
And so she decides that she wants the town to win. But she can't tell them, so she does
charades. She plays a game of charades to convince the town to try to break the record for the longest man-powered
Christmas
tree lighting.
Because, incidentally,
the town has a Christmas or a light factory and a bike factory. So
in the small town of St. Drexel.
So they set that up, and that's the final act. They are doing all of this, and right before they start, the boss comes in because he saw Jin dressing up as Santa and helping them set everything up because he's an engineer and knows how to do all the electrical stuff to get it all working. He comes in, doesn't realize that Jin quit, fires him because he's too impartial, and then
too not impartial.
Yeah, and then
oh, sorry.
You keep putting your hand in the here.
We're so tired.
And then he goes and grabs what's her name, Leah, and sends her home because she can't be there. It will jeopardize the attempt and blah blah blah.
Yep. So says
she abruptly leaves.
Yep. Gotta leave right now. And you can see her, like, debating about it. She packs up all her stuff. She writes a little note. But then all of a sudden, she reappears.
Yeah. So she goes, talks for a little while, or, like, packs everything up, writes a note, and then reappears just in time for the two kissing people. Or they're about to break the record. The two kissing people show up, and they... the guy proposes to the girl, and
5 seconds later, they break the world record.
Yeah, and then the guy comes over and says, "Hey, wait, you can't be here. You're gonna ruin this attempt." She quits, tells him, I don't need this job," and then they basically end the movie with the guy coming back around and being like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? Nice to see you here."
And she says...
they kiss under the mistletoe.
Well, she says, "Oh, I called my parents, and we're having Christmas at my house." And he goes, "Oh, good, because you're mine for New Year's." And she was like, "Oh, good, because I quit my job and I have no life goals anymore." And he goes, "That's fine. You can just move here." And so they kiss, and it ends.
Yeah. Like I said before... total dumpster fire of a movie.
It wasn't good.
I would rate it at, if we're at rating time, I'm going to say it's a solid 1.
I'm going to say at least they did have chemistry. Again, it looked like they were trying to bone each other the entire time. But everything else was just annoying, and so I'm going to say 1.5.
Yeah, this was by far the worst of the worst that I, like, of all of the years of Christmas movie watching that I've ever seen. This one was the worst. It was truly a horrible experience.
He wanted to almost rage cry. This was that bad for him.
Yeah, this was just terrible. So if you want to torture yourself, check this one out because it is it's bad. I don't know.
I wanted to like it. I thought like the premise would have promise, but it's just, she was weird AF.
They were both weird. It was just so weird. And
she kept talking about like the
like
fruitcake rule, the Rudolph rule, and no one had any idea what she was talking about.
She was a total stick in the mud through the entire movie until she quit her job. And yeah, so that's my thoughts on it. I don't know if you want to add any more.
We don't recommend, and sorry for this weird camera angle. It's like 1 a.m, and thank you for watching our show.
If you like it, like and subscribe.
Subscribe!
Leave a comment.
Bye, thank you.
See you next time.